In a FOX23 investigation, last month we told you people are complaining about a Tulsa pool company called Midwest Pools. Now that company and its owner are under investigation by the state.
People paid thousands of dollars, but they say they never got their pools. Tulsa's investigative reporter Janet Clark says more people have reached out to her about this story than any other investigation she's done in her 23 years here.
Since her first investigation aired a few weeks ago, a lot has changed. Here's Jana's follow-up investigation.
I told you about Debbie Adkins from Muskogee. She's in deep after she paid Tulsa company Midwest Pools $46,000.
That's a lot of money.
That's a lot of money.
This is all Debbie has to show for it.
That's a big hole.
Big hole.
Big hole and a lot of money.
She trusted the company's owner, Jeff Johnson.
I thought, okay, he's an ex-Marine, want to give him work, seemed like a nice guy.
When he wouldn't come back and finish her pool, and she'd already paid the majority of it, she'd had it.
He never came back.
Never?
He never came back, nothing.
Debbie started looking on Facebook and found out she wasn't the only one fed up. In fact, there's a Facebook group just to complain about Midwest Pools. Many people also emailed me after seeing my first FOX23 investigation. They sent me their horror stories and photos. A Sepulpa family told me they paid $47,000 for this rectangular hole in the yard. Now they're stuck making payments on it. In Tahlequah, a couple paid $45,000 and only ended up with this large hole. They say it will be next to impossible to save up again. In Skiatook, a couple says this is what their yard looks like now after paying $56,000. They feel frustrated and disillusioned. In South Tulsa, a man paid $48,000 and got a giant dirt pit and what he calls a fiasco. In Bartlesville, a woman paid $56,000 for this. She told me she feels incredibly stupid. In Grove, this eyesore cost $43,000. The owner says it's a hazard in her yard. In Waleetka, a couple paid $71,000 for this huge mess. In Owasso, a man invested $95,000 for a pool he can't use because it's half finished. A woman from Claremore said Jeff actually put in her pool, but she pointed out cracked concrete and this shoddy workmanship. She said Jeff needs to be held accountable for this. Another Claremore woman says her family paid thousands for nothing. She wrote, "Not to be dramatic, but isn't my pool beautiful? $63,600 loan, and my pool is a figment of my imagination."
How does that make you feel when you see all these other people?
It's really upsetting.
In Coweta, Tammy Schreiber told me her story in person.
Tell me what Jeff Johnson was like.
Oh, very personable, a little pushy, but a smooth talker. Very friendly, relatable.
Here's video of Jeff on Tammy's home security camera. He measured in the yard and convinced Tammy and her husband that his family-run business would do a great job putting in a pool.
Seemed trustworthy?
Yeah, very trustworthy. I just didn't have any doubts in my mind at all.
You didn't see it coming?
Not at all.
Tammy signed this contract in November of last year and paid her first 2 down payments, almost $15,000 each. Here's video of when a young woman from Jeff's office even came to the house in person to pick up the second payment. Tammy says she got nothing but the runaround ever since.
I could never get a start date out of him. I kept trying to get answers. No one was getting back to me.
A year later, at the beginning of November, Tammy says these guys finally showed up to mark the ground for her pool.
They said, "We're here to draw the layout for your pool."
Not much work, just some orange paint to mark the outline and 4 metal stakes poked in the ground.
They drew the lines, and that's it.
So they drew some orange paint. And how much did that cost you?
To date, it's almost $30,000.
I cannot even imagine how that makes you feel.
Yeah, it's not a good feeling at all. I feel ashamed that I was sucked in to something like this.
Recently, the Midwest Pools Facebook page went from looking like this to this. It now says permanently closed. One customer sent me photos and told me it looked like Jeff was moving stuff out of his business. Several customers sent me screenshots of a text message Jeff sent that says Midwest Pools will be filing for bankruptcy protection. Tammy got that same text.
I guess I feel like we're even farther away from getting our money back.
I asked Jeff about his customers' allegations, and he said no comment at this time. While I was talking to Tammy,
Thanks for calling me back. I appreciate the info.
I took this call from an investigator.
Jeff Johnson and Midwest Pools is officially under investigation.
Oh, wow. That's good.
This photo shows investigators at Jeff's West Tulsa home after getting a search warrant. I confirmed the Attorney General's office is also investigating.
What can you tell me about Midwest Pools?
We've received multiple complaints.
Deputy Attorney General Stephanie Powers says as of now, they're looking into 18 complaints about Midwest Pools. This isn't the first time they investigated a pool company. In October, Todd Briggs, owner of Oasis Pools in Tulsa, found out he's going to prison.
Did he do the same thing over and over to people?
Yes, he was taking people's money.
Stephanie prosecuted the case and says that Todd did little or even sometimes none of the work and left families high and dry. They often paid big bucks with only holes in the ground. Toward the end, Todd told people he was filing for bankruptcy.
It really does take not just a financial, but an emotional toll on people.
What do you think it is about this kind of crime that is so painful for people?
People feel very betrayed. They feel very kind of silly and stupid because they've been taken advantage of. And these are people that are they're well educated. They work hard for their money. They're not the kind of people that you think would get scammed.
Todd faced 19 counts of embezzlement, plus a charge for pattern of criminal offenses. Stephanie said so many of his victims showed up at all of Todd's hearings.
I've never had that many victims show up, and not just show up, but write pages of victim impact statements and want to be there to read those to the judge.
When they're reading their statements, were they getting upset?
Yeah, really told just such emotional stories about they're having to do second and third jobs and pushing back retirement dates and taking on second and third mortgages.
The judge sentenced Todd to 26 years in prison, and eventually he'll have to pay his victims back $1.2 million in restitution.
It's a very strong sentence, and I think that it sets the tone and hopefully will have a deterrent effect on this industry.
That sounds very similar, if not pretty much exact, of what I've been looking into with Midwest Pools.
Yeah, what I think our investigations show is that it is a deceptive trade practice in that industry.
Stephanie says a pool company is supposed to use someone's deposit only for that person's job, not use the money for anything else. Doing that is illegal.
Not only is that illegal, but that's a dangerous way to do business.
Correct. You risk putting yourself in this hole where you're always robbing Peter to pay Paul.
I've documented everything.
Tammy feels like she's done everything she can.
You file a police report, you file a complaint also with the Attorney General, and then contact Jana. So I have crossed all my T's and dotted all of my I's.
What do you think should happen to Jeff Johnson?
Oh, he should definitely spend some time in jail. He deserves everything that happens to him. It's terrible. You put so much trust into someone and then they turn around and do something like that. And how would you ever think you would never get caught?
Covering news that matters. Jana Clark, Fox 23 News.
Just the customers Jana mentioned in this Fox 23 investigation have shelled out more than $500,000 to Midwest Pools. Now, we told you a couple of weeks ago, 5 lawsuits have been filed this year against Midwest Pools. Since Jana's first Fox 23 investigation, 6 more have been filed, now totaling 11. The Attorney General's office says they want to hear from you about bad business practices. We explain how to send a complaint to the AG's office in this story on Fox23.com.
Do you have a tip or issue that you think Jana Clark should investigate? Let us know. Email Fox23Investigates at Fox23.com or call 918-388-5354 or search Fox 23 Jana Clark on Facebook.